Hello and welcome back to Designing Your Dream Life After Divorce. I'm Renee, I'm your personal coach, and in today's session we're going to cover 3 key things, which is to help you get even clearer and closer to your new story and your dream life. You're going to step out to the different points of that so you can map that out and get even clearer about what you want for your future and how that looks. So we're going to do a beautiful audio process in a moment for you to go through that. Then secondly, we're going to do your action plan, your 90-day action plan towards one outcome that is going to have the biggest difference in your life once you achieve that, to help you really start moving towards your new story and your dream life. And then finally, we're going to look at your values and make sure that your values that you have, which is really what determines the decisions and actions and behaviors you have every day, in alignment with now what you're wanting for your future. If they're not, this is where sometimes we can self-sabotage our own success. So they're the 3 things we're going to go through today. So in a moment, I want you to stop the video. Please go and get yourself comfortable so you can enjoy the audio, where you're going to really step out into the future and get even clearer and more passionate and inspiration, and really juice that up so you can see what your future holds. Then come back onto the video and we're going to start the action plan. So this is action time, where you get to start mapping that out, and then obviously we'll cover your values at the end in the last video today. So please stop the video now, jump into the audio, and I will see you in a moment. Okay, well done. So now that you've written that down, you've got even clearer about what is in your future. Now, I really encourage you to keep reading it as often as you can. Visualize it. Feel those feelings that came up for you. And when you can even start to feel it like it's already starting to happen in your life now, that's when you really activate the full power of the universe to create what you want into your life even faster. So use the audio, enjoy it, go to sleep listening to it, do whatever you can to hold that in your vision, in your vibration, and really bring that into your life even quicker. So let's have a look now at your top 1 priority action outcome that you would like to achieve in the next 90 days. Now, this outcome is going to help you get closer to your 12-month story and the rest of your life. It's just the beginning of this creative process in terms of action, and momentum creates momentum. So we just want to get started now. What is the one thing that's going to have the biggest impact on all areas of your life? So I'll give you an example. So for me, my business, getting my business off the ground, was going to have the biggest impact for me. So it was very much my purpose and my passion already in life. And I knew that once I got my business going, that would allow me to have more confidence, more security, more financial security. It allowed me to have the home that I wanted. It allowed me to take my children traveling and give them the best life. It allowed me to achieve quite a lot of my story that was really important to me. So you will know what the biggest one is for you. That's going to affect all areas of your life and help you get to your 12-month story and your dream life even faster. So please pick your top 1 action outcome, your priority outcome to achieve in the next 90 days. Now, if you want to, you can obviously pick more than 1, and maybe you want to pick 3. There's no problem with that at all. I just want you to have laser focus and to get the ball rolling, because momentum creates momentum. Once you start heading towards this and things start happening for you as you start to create your reality, it will inspire you to want to do more. So pick something that is achievable but also significant, okay? Something that's really going to start to impact your life. You're not here to play small, so play big, okay? Make it achievable, but make sure that it's something that is really worth your while. Now, you've got your 90-day planner template in the resources, so please download that. Put it on your fridge, write down your 3 actions each week towards your outcome, okay? So write that down each week, tick it off as you go so that you know you are achieving what you need to. So map it out for the next 90 days. Okay, now what I do as well is I actually break mine down a little bit further, and I write down what are my 3 outcomes each day. So they're smaller outcomes to get to the bigger outcomes. Okay, so you can do that as well if you want to. And a good thing to do is to find an accountability buddy, someone that you can text your 3 actions to each week or each day even, someone that so it helps you get clear about what have I got to achieve today. All right, and they can do the same for you. So find someone that really wants to progress their life as well. Maybe someone on this membership program that you can find in the Facebook group, and then help each other, inspire each other. Because as I said before, momentum creates momentum. So once you get going, you're really going to enjoy creating your reality and your dreams. Okay, so let's get into the values now to make sure your values are in alignment with what you're wanting for your dream life. So the last part of today's program is to get clear about what your values are as a person. What are those things that you try most to experience in your life, that those things that you're moving towards, so your pleasure values, and what are those things that you most try and avoid in your life, which are your pain values. Now, the reason it's important to know this about yourself is because every day the decisions you make, the actions you take, your behaviors, all of those things that you're doing on a day-to-day basis are either for you to get closer to those things you consider to be pleasurable and avoid those things you consider to be painful. Now, the reason that we need to look at that now is because now that you've identified the things that you want for your future, for your 12-month story and your dream life, we want to make sure that your current values are in alignment with what you're now wanting. If they're not, you might be slightly off course with the decisions and actions you make every day, may not be getting you to where you actually now want to go. So we're going to have a look at that, make sure that they're all in alignment for things to happen faster for you, for things to flow, and for you to be taking the actions and making the decisions you need to every day to make sure you get the outcomes that you really want. So let's have a look now at what those pleasure values are, those things that you consider most important in your life. Okay, great. So now that you've got clear about your new list of values, what the order is that they need to be in for you to achieve what you want to have now in your life, and this is really important because you've got clear about what you want and now your values are in alignment with that. So put those on your fridge, put them somewhere where you can see them to make sure that that's really clear in your mind, that these are the things that are my values, and that will help you make decisions and for your actions each day to very much be in alignment with what your new values are. Okay, now there's behind me here are our pain values. These are the things that as humans we try most to avoid and to not feel. So these are things like failure, rejection, anger, loneliness, frustration, boredom, depression, disappointment, pain. Obviously things that we don't really want to experience in our life. Now, I would like you to get clear now about what are the things you most try to avoid and put them in order of importance as well. So pick your top 7, number them in order of importance as well. And then when you come back on, we're going to have a look at the pain values and making sure that they're not potentially sabotaging you or stopping you from taking the actions you need to get the results that you want in your life. So please stop the video now, get clear about your top 7, and I will see you in a moment. Okay, great. So now that you've got clear about that, we want to just have a look at these pain values, because what can happen is that people can try so hard to avoid having these things that they consider painful that it actually stops them from doing the things that they need to have the pleasure values that they want to have. So I'll give you an example. Someone that wants to have love in their life may be so worried about rejection or being hurt that it actually stops them from getting out there and putting themselves out there to get the love that they want. Okay, so this was one that was a bit of something I had to overcome myself, because my biggest moving towards value was love, but my biggest moving away from value was rejection. So I had to get more comfortable with the idea of rejection. So I'll give you some examples of how you can overcome that in a moment. So the other thing is that maybe you now want success on a different level in your business, in your life, but your biggest moving away from value is the fear of failure. Now, any successful person will tell you that you need to get comfortable with failure if you want to have the success that you really want. So can you see how these things, if they're not understood properly, can potentially get in the way of you having the results that you want? Okay, great. So the last thing that we want to look at today is just looking at where there could be some conflicts with your moving towards and you're moving away from values. So there's things you really want to have in your life, but the things that you're trying really hard to avoid. So I'll give you an example. As you can see behind me, I've written some examples. So let's just say love is really important to you and you've identified that as a part of your new life and your dream life, but you try really hard to avoid rejection. As you can see, that could be a conflict, because what can happen is that people try so hard to avoid rejection, they may not put themselves out there to start with because they really want to avoid that so-called rejection, or they may even push people away before they have a chance to reject them. So it's like a little bit of a self-sabotage pattern that keeps people feeling safe. So the other ones are success. If you've identified you want more success, maybe a new business, whatever that is, but you have a high avoidance of failure. Obviously, these two are going to conflict. So you need to change the way that you see so-called failure. And a lot of successful people will tell you that failure is actually part of the process to being successful. Just like having some rejections is a part of the journey towards finding love. So I just want you to stop the video now, have a look at where there could be some conflicts for you, and then I'm going to show you 3 ways that you can overcome that so that it doesn't sabotage your success around having the results that you want. So just stop the video now and I'll see you in a moment. Okay, great. So just having that awareness to start with is a really good step, because awareness is a big part of the solution. Maybe you've realized that you were trying too hard to avoid failure, or you didn't like having a bit of discomfort, but now as you step out of your comfort zone, obviously you need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. You need to get comfortable with so-called failure. You need to get comfortable with maybe having some so-called rejection. Now, the way to change this to make sure it doesn't stop you from getting what you want, the first thing is to change the way you're seeing it. So, for example, look at rejection differently. Because when you look at rejection, say, for example, you start thinking rejection leads to direction. That so-called rejection actually has helped me get clearer about what I do want. It helped me define it. I use that contrast to get even clearer about, well, what do I want instead? The failures, they're not really failures. They help you navigate your course. They help you reset and redirect. They might help you change strategy to get to that success. So failure is actually a good correction point to help you get even clearer as well about what you want and what you need to do to get there. Okay, so just changing the way that you see these things, that they are a part of the process. They're not something that needs to stop you. You can soften the way that you look at them. Okay, so that's the first part. The second part is to just get comfortable with being a bit uncomfortable. Okay, so no one wants to have these experiences in their life, but when you get a little bit comfortable with that discomfort, or realizing that, you know what, this is just part of the journey, I just get back up and I keep going. Because when you're playing at a bigger level and stepping outside your comfort zone, you're going to have to get comfortable with some of these things. So just change the way you see it to, this is all part of the journey. I'm getting one step closer to my success. I'm getting one step closer to having that love that I want. With every no, I'm one step closer to having a yes. So just start changing the way you're seeing it. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And finally, don't forget you've got the emotional clearing processes that you can use on this program. So if there's any emotion like that, rejection or pain or hurt or disappointment, any negative emotion, you can use the accelerated emotional clearing on. So please use these tools, because once you know that, hey, it doesn't matter if I have a feeling around that, I can jump in, use the audio, get rid of that once and for all. It's not going to stop you anymore, because you're actually going to let go of that emotion and that fear around having that emotion. So well done on doing your values. It really helps you get clear about what's important to you, making sure it's in alignment now with what you're wanting, making sure that you have the same values or enough similar values as your new partner, and being sure to qualify that and checking on that with them as soon as you can, and also making sure that you don't have conflicting values that could have stopped you from having the results that you want. So knowledge has power. You have a whole new awareness. Take this into your dream relationship and on this journey, and I will look forward to seeing you on the next session.